Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Imagine you're a Cuban naval officer patrolling the Florida Straits. You look over the railing and you see a pod of dolphins playing in the wake. Nothing out of the ordinary, right? Wrong. Those aren't dolphins. They're high-tech, multi-million-dollar acoustic collectors, and they're recording every single word you say. This is Operation Whale. In the height of the Cold War, the agency realized that standard spy ships were too easy to spot. They needed something that blended in with the scenery. So they turned to the ocean's residents for cover, creating a mechanical menagerie designed to turn the Caribbean into one giant listening ear. To track the Cuban and Soviet fleets, the CIA's Office of Research and Development, ORD, went full James Bond under the waves. Operation Whale focused on creating biomimetic buoys, self-contained listening stations housed in life-size models of marine animals. The primary designs included a 10-foot whale for deep-sea monitoring and smaller dolphins for coastal surveillance. A quote from a declassified ORD technical evaluation: "The disguise must be visually indistinguishable from local species at a distance of 50 yards. The skin must possess the same tactile and reflective properties as biological tissue to defeat active sonar detection." End quote. The agency hired Hollywood special effects artists and marine biologists to ensure the skins moved naturally with the currents. They even added tail fluke motors to give the buoys a realistic swimming motion. The biggest technical hurdle wasn't the electronics, it was the wildlife. Real sharks kept attacking the expensive disguised buoys, mistaking the electric hum for the nervous system signals of a distressed fish. A quote from a field operative log from their Key West station: "Buoy number 4, the shark deterrent model, was recovered with significant lacerations to the dorsal section. It appears a local predator engaged the asset. The internal hydrophone was severed." End quote. To solve the shark problem, the CIA experimented with aversion coatings, chemicals that tasted like rotting shark flesh to keep the real predators from eating the spies. The whale buoys were designed to be bottom moored, sitting on the seafloor and releasing a floating antenna disguised as a piece of sea kelp or driftwood to transmit data back to Miami. The agency's aquatic lab in the Virgin Islands spent $200,000, a fortune in 1965, just on researching the exact shade of dolphin gray that wouldn't stand out in the tropical sun. One version of the buoy, nicknamed Charlie the Tuna, was a smaller hand-deployed unit that agents could drop over the side of a standard fishing boat while passing through Cuban waters. Operation Whale buoys were equipped with scuttle valves. If someone tried to pull the whale out of the water, a pressure sensor would trigger a saltwater battery that dissolved the internal circuits, leaving the captor with nothing but a hollow fiberglass shell. The electronics inside the buoys were powered by seawater batteries that used salinity of the ocean to generate low voltage power, allowing them to remain active for up to 6 months. That's pretty impressive. Saltwater batteries, huh? The CIA successfully deployed a manta ray buoy in Havana Harbor to track the specific acoustic signature of Soviet OSA class missile boats. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. Maybe it's OSA class. To record the data, the agency used ultra-thin magnetic tapes that could hold hundreds of hours of underwater audio, which were later recovered by frogmen from clandestine submarines. Biologists working for the CIA discovered the mechanical clicking sounds helped the buoys blend in with local dolphin chatter, masking the sounds of the internal motors. The fake whale project was so secretive that even Navy sonar operators were often confused, reporting anomalous marine behavior in areas where the CIA was testing the assets. The project was eventually scaled back in the 1970s because the sea life disguises were too fragile for long-term deployment in hurricane conditions. Technical blueprints show the whale buoys used a specialized Boyle's Law ballast system, allowing the mechanical beast to rise and sink silently without bubbles, mimicking a real whale's diving pattern. The CIA developed a pelican drop method where a low-flying plane could release the sea life buoys into the water from a specialized chute designed to look like a natural splash. A quote from the CIA Office of Research and Development, this is one of their memos: "The integration of the hydrophone into the blow whale of the whale chassis has improved signal clarity by 30% while maintaining the external aesthetic." end quote. Archived receipts reveal the CIA purchased hundreds of pounds of high-grade taxidermy resin to create a realistic, slimy texture for the fake fish skin. Operation Whale included a sub-project called Mock Rock, which involved placing acoustic sensors inside fake coral reefs strategically located near Soviet docking piers. When you read the incident summary for Operation Whale, the black ink and redactions flow like oil from a tanker. The heaviest redactions are in the contact with foreign vessels section. Speculation suggests that these bars hide a 1966 incident where a Soviet destroyer actually caught one of the fake whales, and the blackout text describes the CIA's frantic mission to sink the Soviet ship to keep the tech from being reverse engineered. Some speculation surrounds the biohybrid logs. Conspiracy theorists believe the redacted text describes a project where the CIA didn't just use mechanics, but cybernetic implants and real whales, and the black bars hide the grotesque surgical details of the failed experiments. There's also a theory that the redactions hide the Bermuda connection. Speculation holds that one of the whale buoys drifted into the triangle and started recording non-terrestrial engine sounds, and the black bars hide the CIA's panic over what they heard. Some even speculate the redactions hide the diver encounters. The theory is that the Cuban spearfishers kept finding the whales, and the bars hide the neutralization protocols the agency had to use to keep the locals quiet. Some conspiracy theorists often point to the deep sea cables section that is redacted, and the speculation here is that the fake whales weren't just listening, they were tapping into underwater communication lines, and the redacted files hide the transcripts of the stolen data. There is also speculation that the acoustic buoys were actually communicating with something older than the Navy. The theory is that the black bars hide the moment the CIA realized the real whales were talking back to the machines, and the machines were changing their own code. There is also speculation that the redacted section titled Maintenance Logs hide the fact that the CIA lost 3 nuclear-powered super whale prototypes that are still drifting on the ocean floor today. Some theorists even believe the Havana Harbor redactions hide a plan to use the whales as mobile mines, with the black bars covering the amount of TNT hidden inside the fiberglass bellies. Another theory suggests the redactions hide the giant squid incident, speculation that a whale buoy was dragged to impossible depths by an unknown creature, and the bars hide the survival data the sensor sent back before being crushed by a kraken. Some even speculate the redactions hidden in the dolphin defectors section, specifically describe the CIA's robotic dolphins as being so realistic that they actually joined real pods and disappeared. There is speculation that the redacted signal section hides a moment where the CIA accidentally recorded a secret meeting between Castro and Soviet leaders held on a private yacht, and the black bars cover the extremely sensitive political fallout. Some theorists speculate that the black bars in the operational failure section hide the fact that a whale buoy was accidentally detonated by a passing U.S. Navy submarine, nearly starting a friendly fire war. There is wild speculation that the redacted deep dive logs hide the discovery of underwater Soviet bases in the Caribbean, with the black bars hiding the base's exact latitude and longitude. Some speculate the redactions hide the Mermaid Protocol, a tongue-in-cheek agency name for a plan to use holographic projections from the buoys to scare away superstitious local fishermen. Lastly, there is speculation that the whale was actually used to transport a mini-agent, a genetically modified monkey, into Cuban waters, and the black bars hide the biological ethics report. Was Operation Whale a success? Technically, it was a marvel. It proved the CIA could miniaturize complex spying gear and hide it inside organic-looking structures. Operationally, it was mixed. While they gathered incredible acoustic data on the Cuban fleet, the nature problem, sharks, storms, and curious fishermen, made the project too high maintenance to sustain. The synthetic sea led to very real technological wins, such as biomimicry. The CIA's research into fish skins helped develop the stealth coatings used on modern silent-running nuclear submarines. Low-power hydrophones. The The project refined underwater microphones that could hear through the cacophony of the ocean, a tech still used by NOAA for whale tracking today. Autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs. The tail flute propulsion was the direct ancestor to modern robotic fish used in marine research. And lastly, encrypted acoustic burst. The method of sending data through the water without being detected by sonar became a standard for special ops communications. Operation Whale reminds us that in the world of espionage, the most dangerous thing in the water isn't a shark, it's a whale with a microphone. Thanks for listening to this episode. Join us next time as we examine Operation Hard Rock. How do you build a secure, high-tech communications hub when you're surrounded by enemy territory? The CIA's answer: go deep. We'll look at the secret program to hollow out a mountain in South Vietnam to build a fortress of signal. From the engineering nightmares of drilling through solid granite in secret to the ghost stories told by the agents who lived in the dark, we uncover the agency's underground nerve center. Join us for The Mountain's Secret. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.